Bruce, your roster's changed quite a bit since the last time we talked to you. Just what has this last couple months been like, and continuing, I guess?
You know, people ask me, how good we're going to be, right? And I'm going, look, you've seen my guards on tape as much as I have, right? Zepp, Wendell, are two guys that we've gotten to know. We've had great conversations with. We've had Zoom calls with, and I've watched them on tape. And the only behind-the-scenes story I could tell you about Wendell was a couple years ago. I was out in West Virginia to see Sharif, and I was watching Lalamure play somebody really good. And I called Steven, I'm like, there's this little kid from Lalamure, and he's out there killing. And who is this guy? And Steven, hits me back and he says, well, that's Wendell Green. He's probably ranked as a mid-major player. I said, well, he ain't playing like a mid-major player out here right now. I went looking for a point guard because we already had Sharif. So I got my chance to lay eyes on Wendell a little bit, and got a chance to see his body and his toughness a little bit. But really, a lot of it is just sort of projecting. I'll tell you one thing that I'm going to do a little differently this year. When we start individual workouts, when the guys come back, I may not start team practice right away where I'm actually going to start teaching our system. I actually may take some of the time and watch them play pickup. Because I want to see what Walker can do. I want to see what Jabari can do. I want to see what Wendell and Zepp can do. I want to see what Desi can do before I put them in a system and coach them. I've never done that before. That's just how new the roster is. So I can learn a little bit, learn a little bit more about them, what they're like, without structure.
Have you heard about that before, or is that just an idea you had? Or
just an idea I had. Yeah, I hadn't necessarily heard about that, but I just kind of thought that'd be a good thing to do. Because I've got a bit of a notion. I just need to see them live. I haven't seen Jabari live in a year and a half. I haven't seen Walker since the state tournament a year and a half ago, right?
They all grow through answers for you?
Walker's grown.
Coach, sorry.
No, you're good.
Being here, I'm kind of just taking the Birmingham angle. The fans here, meeting them. We were just talking to Coach Harrison about he's meeting the fans for the first time in person. We just introduced himself for the first time in Zoom. But does it feel good to be back here, kind of with fans and interacting in Birmingham?
Yeah, it does. We've been trying to be as normal as possible. And so, like even being with our friends in the media right now, I mean, a lot of the press conferences were over Zoom, and yet we're here face to face now for the first time. So, but we've still been communicating. Auburn is we're a program that we've tried to take throughout the state. We played at UAB, at UAB for a reason in Birmingham. We played the Mike Slive Invitational, in Birmingham for a reason. We've gone down to South Alabama and played in Mobile on the road for a reason. So we'll continue to take the team through the state, and it's important that Coach Harsin and I and Alan and we get out and we get a chance to put our arms around our fans and say thank you, we appreciate you, and we're excited about what we've done, and we're excited about what we're going to do.
When somebody like JT goes through the process of the tournament, how much have you communicated with him recently, and I guess how much of a challenge is that, kind of juggling, not knowing his decision at this point?
Well, I think there have been three things that have sort of been thrown at us that really have turned our world a little bit upside down. That's the whole transfer portal thing. That's the COVID, everybody's eligible again next year. And that's name, image, and likeness. And then you throw that on top of the fact that I got two freshmen that legitimately have a chance to be one and done. That's a lot to be thrown at a program and a roster in a short period of time. There's a balance between, look, my job is to help them get there. My job is also to win championships. My job is to try to graduate. My job is to serve in the community. A lot of different jobs. And to try to balance all those things, that's the great challenge. But as long as you put at the top of the list what's best for the student athlete and work your way down from there, then you go at it accordingly. I think JT is going to be a great NBA player. I think JT is absolutely a pro. It's up to them to decide when and how soon and how high and all those different things. I have no doubt of his ability. He was great to coach, so on and so forth. War Eagle, man. The question just comes into when, and I'm one of many voices, and that he has to be able to kind of work his way through. So, if JT stays in the draft, he's going to get drafted.
Bruce, you mentioned NIL.
Last question.
Obviously, Governor Ivey signed that in the law, and NCAA is discussing what they want to do. Have you guys had any discussions about how you're going to kind of approach that with players and whether there's going to be any education with them?
We've had lots of discussions, lots of meetings, trying to stay ahead of the curve. But we have to wait until this thing gets started, because like if you do too much in advance, you actually could be unintentionally even breaking rules. I've always been about a realistic scholarship. I've always been about tuition, room, board, books, fees, and then some. I think the cost of attendance is a great thing, because it's a much more realistic scholarship, and the kids that are involved are absolutely deserving. I actually floated the idea about annuities, an annuity in football, or annuity in basketball, in the sense that the money that's being made, wouldn't that be cool at some point down the road for those kids to be able to tap into some of that as an annuity? Those are the kind. So therefore, the idea that they're going to be able to, be compensated for their own name, image, and likeness it absolutely makes sense. And Auburn is going to kind of do everything we can to support those student athletes, and from a compliance standpoint, manage it. There are limits as to what we can do with it, but we'll pay very close attention to what's being done around the country and do everything we can to assist the kids.
Bruce,
Is UAB going to be back on schedule?
What's that?
Is UAB going to be back on schedule?
Probably at some point.
Thanks,